I call this meeting to order. Please stand for the invocation by Councilman Rubin and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Carlson.
Dear Lord, we come to you on this evening. We give you all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor, Father. Father, we thank you, Father, for allowing us to be able to join together once again. Though we come as many hearts, we come with one common goal, and that's to do your will, Father. So we ask that you come in the midst of what we're doing tonight and give us the wisdom, the knowledge to be able to move forward the way you would like for us to move forward, Father. And we ask you this through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman. We welcome you to the Lafayette Parish Council meeting. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to make the following announcements. This is a public hearing. To address the council on any item on this agenda, please fill out the speaker form to submit your information to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Staff assistance is available if needed. Items for submission to the council should be handed to Council Clerk Miss Veronica Williams, seated to my left. When addressing the council, please state your name and title for the official record. The 3-minute rule is in effect. Please, no debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. Any interruption of this lawful assembly is prohibited and will not be tolerated. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices at this time. Meeting procedures are by resolution and not Robert's Rules of Order. All documents with reference to the meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards and commissions. If interested, please call 291-8800. Couple of chair announcements. Item number 11, Joint Ordinance -024-02021 regarding changes to the Lafayette Development Code, has a proposed amendment by Council members Lazard, Lewis, and Gilbo to make multiple adjustments to Exhibit C. Item number 29, introduction of Joint Ordinance -045-2021 regarding American Rescue Plan Act funds is being deferred indefinitely. The subject matter will be addressed by Joint Resolution -049-2021 during the special joint meeting immediately following this meeting. We wish a happy birthday, Celeste Cruz, Council Secretary, which she will celebrates today, July 20th. Congratulations, Celeste, just in time. Councilmember Nakane is unable to attend today's meeting. Councilmember Rubin.
Thank you, Chairman. As most of you know, one of my something that's near and dear to my heart is our children. I look at our children as our future, and I've talked about this in the past, but we can't talk enough about it. People, we are losing our children. That's the best way I can put it. We are losing our children, and I know we have a lot of things on our agenda, on our minds, but let's not forget about our children, guys. I heard someone say, oh, our children are lost. My question to you and anybody else who said this generation is lost, what roadmaps are you giving to these children? We need to give our children an outlet, guys. There are many things out there that we can do. There are free programs during the summertime, which that's when our crime rate goes up. We've lost beautiful young children, some kids, to stupidity, guys. There are programs out there that we can help out with. Someone told me one time, if you don't have a solution, don't come with your problem. Okay? There are solutions out there. You want to be an activist in the community? There's big brothers, big sisters. Take 1 hour out of your time. Go help. Give a child 1 hour of your time. There's volunteer programs. Some of you guys out there that's retired, you don't have nothing to do. Man, go volunteer some time with a child. They don't have to look like you or be the same gender as you, okay? Let's help our community, because when we lose one in this community, that's one of mine, and I feel it, okay? And I hope you guys are feeling it too, man. Don't just sit back and say, oh, it's not my concern. What if that's your child innocently standing by and gets a stray bullet? Now we want to say, what are we going to do about it? Because it's knocking on our door. Don't wait to let it knock on your door. I'm tired of the balloon releases. I'm tired of the T-shirts. Let's be proactive, guys. Let's not point fingers. I'm tired of fingers being pointed, man. When you point a finger, you know how many you have pointing back at you? Let's be proactive in doing things in our community, guys. And this is not the first time, and this won't be the last time y'all hear me say this, because every single time we lose one, that's one of mine. That's one of yours. And you guys should feel it when one of ours loses their lives. When one loses their lives, we're affecting not just one family. We're affecting 2 families. We're affecting a community, guys. So I'm pleading tonight. I'm challenging, especially all you guys that come up here all the time talking about, we need to do something in our community. We need to do something in our community. Well, I'm challenging you tonight. Give me 1 hour out of a month. Do the big brother, big sister. That's just one of the programs that I'm thinking about. I'm not saying that's the best program, but at least we're showing our kids that we love them. If we don't show them that we love them, we'll have another mom up here talking about that kratom, or the heroin, or the pimps, or the drug dealers. That's who's going to show them the love in the streets, and we've lost another child to the system. So I beg of you guys, there's always things on the LCG website where there's free programs for our kids. If you don't have a child, you got a grandchild, go get your grandchild. Go get the neighbor child down the street you know that's running around not doing nothing. Invest into them 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, and bring them to the programs, guys. Don't just sit back and wait for it to come knocking on your door. I'm sorry, guys. That's just me. I love the children. And I'm hoping you guys feel what I'm feeling right now. We, as a community, we need to do better. Because right now, we're failing our children. I don't care. I get heat about it all the time. But I'm telling y'all, we are failing them. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Rubin, and certainly that's not the first time we've heard the plea come from you, and we certainly appreciate your position, and I also would extend that challenge to all. There is a place for each and every one of us to help those youths, to make sure that we can get them through a fruitful, healthy life and not be another victim out there. So anything that we can do, certainly, Councilman, we support you in that effort, and thanks for those comments. Okay, not hearing any other council members? Mr. Mayor President, your report.
Nothing to report, Mr. Chair, but I will echo your compliments to Councilman Rubin, but I will tell you this, as I get to know you and see you out in your district, you're a leader, but you're a leader that leads from the front, leads by example. You did that for decades before you became a councilman, and it is rewarding, to see you out there with people that you've built these relationships with. So the term "put your money where your mouth is not lost on you. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you to each of you. Nothing else to add, Mr. Chair.
Good, thank you, sir. Resolutions. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Parish Resolution 8, 2021, a resolution of the Lafayette Parish Council supporting resuming federal offshore leasing in the Gulf of Mexico.
Need a motion, second. Been motioned by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 2? District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Parish Resolution 9, 2021, a resolution of the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of that property located at the 100 block of Opus Lane to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 47-2202B for the price of the sale's anticipated cost.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Mr. Mayor President.
Mr. Chair, just for a house cleaning item, on item 5, I would like the record to reflect a proper vote, and maybe I saw it wrong, Madam Clerk. I think, okay, so I believe okay. If we could, if it's allowed through the rules, it's a pretty important resolution. I believe it was a 4-0 vote, and it, maybe one councilman. Okay, so Councilman Tabor accidentally hit the absent button.
Right. Okay, we can do it, but we go by the voice vote.
Okay.
We go by voice vote.
So it is a 4-0.
Yes, sir. Oh, correct.
4-0-1
Yes, sir.
vote.
All right.
Okay, sir?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Okay,
And-
we have
And
a,
Brian, sorry, Mr.
Go
Chair,
ahead.
is it working or you hit it? Okay, thank you.
Okay, and I'll-
Thank you.
Hey, I'll spell out yes for you so you can know what it looks like.
okay, we've got a lot of help. Let's move. Any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, let's vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint resolution. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing. Wait a minute. Did I hit it right? Yeah, joint resolution, yeah. Are available for anyone wishing to address the council. 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Resolution 22, 2021, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing a non-warranty cash sale of 304 Cedar Crest Court to an adjoining landowner pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 47-2202B for the price of the sale's anticipated cost.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's call for the vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Ordinance is for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Parish Ordinance 29, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council declaring the Willow Street Correctional Facility Project a public necessity and authorizing the acquisition of the necessary rights-of-way, immovable property, and other property rights requisite to the construction of said project either on an amicable basis or through the use of the expropriation process if necessary.
Need a motion second? Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Tabor. We have discussion. Councilman Rubin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This particular ordinance, I wasn't here at the last meeting, and the author of it is not available at this meeting. And I wanted to ask a few questions. I didn't get a chance to discuss it with him. And I was wondering, is there any kind of way that we can maybe defer this to get more language put in there, or just to discuss it amongst the community? Because one of the problems, or I don't like to use the term problem, one of the situations that I've been having within my district is we have elderly people in the district who don't realize that there's a city councilman and a parish councilman now. So they've been calling just the city councilman, and he's been telling them, hey, you need to call A.B. Rubin, he's your parish councilman. And they're like, you know, so if they don't understand that, they're having issues understanding this. So I was just wondering, since the author's not here, if anybody else in here would like to see if we can defer this until the author come back and we can further discuss this particular ordinance.
Mr. Rubin, I would ask, are you making a motion to that effect?
Yes. Okay.
Hold on, I'll give it to you. Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Rubin, so I know Mr. Nakhan isn't here tonight. I've worked with him substantially over the last 6 months, and so I'm fairly familiar with this project. Are there any specific questions that you have right now that I might be able to answer so as not to defer? Just to help answer any of your questions that you might have received, or I really don't want to see this deferred if we don't have to, simply so we can keep the ball rolling on this project. This doesn't mean that any project is happening. This just authorizes the mayor president to begin, really take those next steps and make sure that property that we've looked at for this potential project in the future, we actually have a site that fits, instead of losing out on that opportunity in that property.
Well, I'm still live.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Okay, one of the things that they were asking about was, a lot of them saying they don't want to have a jailhouse in their neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they was asking the question, if we're acquiring this land, are we acquiring it for the specific purpose of building a jailhouse? And are we purchasing this land already, or are we just getting the rights to acquire it, given the right to negotiate for the property? What exactly is happening right here?
I think that's a good question. So this specific ordinance does that. It authorizes the mayor president to begin to negotiate for that property. The long-term goal and plan, what kind of brought about this resolution, is discussions Councilman Nakhan and I have had with with the sheriff and the warden and some of the judges in town of how do we solve the current problems that we have with our existing jail. I don't know about you, but I do not like seeing millions of dollars go to fix a building that is in really, really bad shape. I think that money can be better spent. I don't like seeing, since you and I have been on this council, I think we allocated, just before we got here, a little over $1 million to replace all of the plumbing, and $700,000 or $800,000 for a sewage grinder because inmates were flushing sheets and bedding and down the sewer system. So if we can, I think if anybody, you've seen the jail. I think anybody who's seen the jail firsthand, they know the condition that it's in. We have a 5-story jail, but with a 2-story millage. It's 35, 36, 37 years old. We have wings that are not structurally sound. I know the long-term plan cannot be that we keep our jail where it is. I don't see how that's feasible. I think we're throwing good money after bad. And so the conversation became, okay, where do we go from here? And it made logical sense in two aspects for this property on Willow Street. One, it's immediately adjacent to the sheriff's current facility, right? Anyone who drives on Willow has seen his facility, pretty expansive, and this property is immediately adjacent. So if any prisoner is being transported to the jail, from the courthouse or vice versa, he has staff right there. It makes sense. Also, the proximity to the courthouse, right? That much property close enough to the courthouse, but also removing it out of downtown where it currently sits, kind of made this property a really good opportunity. So that's kind of what spurred it on. So obviously, a new jail would cost a substantial amount of money, right? We don't have that kind of money currently, but we need to be able to. I don't want to see this property lost. And because we're trying to figure out how do we fund the jail and what does that look like, because we don't know what kind of time frame that would take. I think it's appropriate to ask the mayor president and authorize him to go and acquire this property immediately adjacent to the sheriff's property and say, look, at least begin those negotiations and those discussions so that a developer doesn't go and buy the property and then we're looking elsewhere in throughout the parish that probably wouldn't be as beneficial or satisfactory for a jail.
And I'll say, I've seen the jailhouse, and yes, there is a need for a new jailhouse, but I'm looking at one of the constituents right now in the audience who called me today and said, why my neighborhood? Okay? He's saying you guys are in the parish, but y'all want to put it in our city. You know? So.
Well, the city's in the parish. The city uses the jail too.
Yeah. But the thing is, he's saying why we can't put it out in the country or in the parish somewhere, you know? And they have these are some of the questions they're having. There's another one said today that they've been talking with the sheriff about all kinds of things and it was never brought to them. So they're thinking in your words, they're trying to hide something and manipulate and they're not being transparent. So they're figuring there's some secretive thing going on and they would like to discuss it a little more amongst the community. So, and that's the only reason I'm asking. Yes, we do need a jail. But I think the community in that area, they would like to have some input and some discussion about it. And so that way they can feel a lot more comfortable as us giving the mayor president the right to negotiate for the property. And once again, from what you're telling me, they're not purchasing it right now, they're just giving the rights to negotiate. Am I saying that correct?
Well, I mean, you can read the ordinance, but so this property is not in a residential area. It's in an industrial park immediately next door to where the sheriff is currently housing prisoners.
But
so it's not bringing
there's a neighborhood
prisoners.
right behind it, dude. That's what they're the ones who calling. I think this guy stays right in the neighborhood, they call it Roy Town.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he's a little worried
I think it would be hard pressed to find any section of property in the parish that doesn't have a neighborhood within a few moments of it. I'm saying we're not looking at taking prisoners and putting them in a place where there are no prisoners. The future plans would be to say we are already housing prisoners at a large facility. Let's build an additional facility right next door that complements what the sheriff is already doing there and house prisoners there. I get the concern if you had a purely residential area and we're taking 13 acres in the middle of that and placing a jail. But that's not what this area is.
That jail, when you say prisoners, right now it's a work release program. So it's not like you have Charles Manson there. You know what I'm saying? You got the guy that's about to get out of jail or you know, they go there. It's a work release program. So it's not major criminals there. And I think that's one of the concerns of the community around there. You have a state-of-the-art school right there down the street, so these are some of the reasons why they was trying to see if they could defer it. And I mean, you guys do what y'all have to do, but I'm just asking for my constituents, they would like to get more questions answered. If y'all could defer it, for another 2 weeks to let at least try to get the author back here too, and whatnot. So that's where I'm at right now.
So you want to defer 2 weeks?
Yes, sir. So that's my motion on the floor. It's up to you guys.
We have a motion to
I'd second
defer.
that motion.
We have a motion by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Carlson, to defer until the next council meeting. I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
August 3rd,
Okay.
What?
August 3rd.
August 3rd.
August 3rd.
Any further discussion?
You get a card?
You'll get a chance. I'll give you a chance. Any further council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comments?
Yes, sir. We did have 2 citizens who did not wish to speak, who signed in to support the ordinance. We have 2 citizens who signed in to speak, and we have Leroy Barrington, and he will be followed by Ted Richard. And Mr. Barrington, would you like to speak to the motion to defer until August 3rd? Okay, you can step forward, and he will be followed by Ted Richard. Mr. Richard, you can go to the other podium.
Please state your name and who you are.
Gotcha. My name is Leroy Barrington. I live at 107 Scepter Circle, that's Lafayette, in the city limits. And I would like to say that I would like to move the meeting and decisions back 2 weeks. We're going to fight you on this. We're going to fight you all the way. If you go out and buy the property, you have no money in the city. You need public draining, you need police, you need fire, you need, spend the money on that. But on a jail, no. That would be maybe one of the 4th or 5th items on my list, because there's other things that's more important. You build a jail there, you have a school, you have 2 churches, you got a park, you got a neighborhood that's maybe 1/4 of a mile down the street, you got an apartment complex the same distance. You got the interstate, you got Ambassador Caffrey, you got Walker Road. All those are access to get out the city real quick. And I just have questions. The parish, I have no objections to what you do, but why would you come into the city and want to buy property? We deconsolidating, we're fighting over this. Why spend your money buying some property that you can't use? Because we're not going to let you build a parish prison in the city limits. It just don't make sense. But again, I would like to move it. It's to understand what I am saying is my opinion. And I would like to hear other people. I would like to hear somebody say something positive as to why. Would you like the prison in your neighborhood right behind your house? No, I don't think so. Neither one of you. But we got open land, we got all kind of property out in the parish where you could build this. I mean, it's really common sense. But when I hear something like this, the first thing I think about is, hey, there's a bigger plan behind this. And I think it's a bigger plan behind this. But again, I vote to move it to 2 weeks. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Next speaker is Tad Richard.
Firstly, Mr. Gilbert, I apologize. I didn't know. I thought if y'all deferred it first, I wasn't going to get to speak, so I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Secondly, if you guys have any questions about anything on this ordinance, you can ask me, because I'm the one that came up with it. Mr. Carlson knows that, and Mr. Nakane knows that. This is one of the things that I ran on when I ran against Kevin Nakane for parish council. I spoke with Sheriff Garber. We spoke for a long time. At the time that I was running, the parish was broke. And the reason I came up with this is I said, look, why don't we take the jail and the entire sheriff's complex and move it over to Willow Street? That way it's consolidated. I said, secondly, you could save money because the prisoners would not have to be transported. You could teleconference the court proceedings and all of that. The other thing that we talked about is to start charging the outer cities for housing their prisoners in the parish jail. That doesn't happen currently, and I don't know why. Sheriff Garber said he did want to keep a sheriff's presence downtown. So I agreed with him. I said, look, that's great. Move the balance of the sheriff's complex out to Willow Street. That way we can secure that. Then, downtown, you want your downtown presence? There's availability within the parish government building, right cat-a-corner from the courthouse. So all of that could happen, and what he said at the time was that there were space constraints. So I'm really sorry if I'm going against what you say, but I'm trying to answer a couple of questions. But that's kind of where that thing came up was he said, well, I don't have enough space, we would need that property. And it would have to be reinforced or whatever because there's a school behind it and some other stuff like that. But he did say that they could build a much more secure facility instead of having to fix the one that they have downtown to try to make it to where it's even feasible to keep it. They could build a brand new state-of-the-art prison that actually works and make it work for the people that are housed there, the prisoners, and also making work for the surrounding communities because there is a school right behind it. He's right. And so those were his same concerns also. So that's kind of the gist of how all of this came about is because the parish was broke. And I was running for office and I was trying to figure out ways to save money for the parish. And that's what I came up with. And when I spoke to Sheriff Garber, he was like, holy cow, like, yeah, that would make sense, but we don't have the property. So I hope that answers a whole bunch of questions. But I would agree to defer so that Mr. Nakane could, because I want to thank him because he took my idea and ran with it. So yeah, it was my idea, great, but I mean, I'm not on the council, he is, so I'm glad that they took it and ran with it. But yeah, that was the impetus behind all of that. So thank you all for listening, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Richard.
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
No other speakers? Any further council discussions? Not hearing any. Let's vote. And that is to defer.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to defer to August 3rd is approved. Parish Ordinance 31, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council providing for the abandonment of a 20-foot access and drainage servitude on an unplatted piece of property located near the intersection of Aila Road and Vero School Road.
Need a motion second?
Second.
Been motioned by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
We do have one speaker who signed in only if you have questions.
Okay. Any questions, Councilman, for the speaker?
No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
Okay, let's vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Parish Ordinance 32, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of prior year parish general fund balance in the amount of $2,500 and appropriating within the Louisiana COP-EXT Service Department.
Need a motion second? Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Joint ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and speaker sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 3-minute rule does apply. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 24, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending Chapter 89 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Code of Ordinances, the Lafayette Development Code.
I need a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Been motioned by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Councilman Lazar, Lewis, and Gilbo have proposed an amendment to make multiple adjustments to Exhibit C. Therefore, I will ask for a motion and second from the council to amend. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson to amend. Any council discussion on the amendment? Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mary, I think I saw you here. Can you just kind of get, I saw this on our desk whenever we got here. Can you kind of give us a brief rundown on what these amendments are and what's going on? I hadn't seen this until we walked in, and so.
Information on the amendment
Yes.
Article 2?
Correct.
Okay, so we are taking out some
Mary.
link.
Could you say your name? and-
Mary Slyman, Director of Development.
Thank you.
Community Development and Planning. So we are taking some language out of Article 5, and as a supplement to that, we needed to add this language in Article 2 on pages, I think it's pages 16 and 17, or 17 and 18.
Okay.
It's really a zoning thing, so it's not going to really apply for the parish side, but that's where the change is. It's just that one item on 17 to 18.
All right.
And Mary, it does apply only to the city. Explain why, not the parish.
Because it's regarding a zoning district, and there is no zoning in the parish.
Right, okay.
Why is it a joint ordinance? Is it because the development code?
The whole development code
Right.
is a joint ordinance.
I knew the answer as soon as I asked the question, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Ms. Williams, any public comment
No, sir. No, sir. on the amendment.
on the amendment? Okay, I'll call for the vote on the motion as amended.
On the motion to amend.
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? Yes. District 3?
Yes.
Motion to amend is approved.
Now we'll have council discussion on the ordinance as amended. Any council discussion or questions? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Then I call for a vote from the council to adopt as amended.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? Yes. District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt as amended is approved. Joint Ordinance 34, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget and adjusting the manning tables of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by adding 2 labor foreman 1 positions in the Traffic, Roads, and Bridges Department, OP Roads, Bridges-C section through the use of the fund balance in the amount of $18,090.
Need a motion second? Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 35, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a maintenance agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development concerning the maintenance of state roadways to include mowing and litter pickup, and amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by decreasing the use of Fund 260 prior year fund balance by $483 and increasing reimbursement revenue from the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $483.
Need a motion second? Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment? Oh, I'm sorry. Jumped the gun.
For the administration, is this another road where we're picking up, where the state was cutting it and just taking too long to do it, and so we're going to cut it and they're going to reimburse us for it? Okay. I will highlight this for people. Maybe it's just me because I see it every day when we drive, but prior to this administration, I will give the administration credit for this. Verot School Road, Ambassador Caffrey Extension, I know multiple places throughout the parish. Like I said, I just see those every single day. The grass would, we spent $25 million on Verot School Road, and the grass would be 4 feet high, right? Like, we should have just never done the road, and then the administration took over and said, look, don't worry about it, state of Louisiana, we'll handle it, and in some cases, they reimburse us for it. So this is a great opportunity where, guys, we're not hiring extra people to do this, we're getting it done, it's not costing us extra money, but it's making our city look really good, and parish look really great, and so just for those of you who don't know it, I know this is a small amount, but like I said, when we had tens of millions of dollars spent on roadways, and then it looked terrible, these are things, little things that we can do that make a huge impact for the city, and so I just wanted to clarify and make sure this is one of those things and put out that information.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 36, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to submit the 2021 Annual Plan Grant Application to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Carlson, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? Yes. Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 37, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $1,565,183 in CDBG funds received from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and appropriating funds within the Community Development Department.
Need a motion, second. Been motioned by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Tabor. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 38, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $621,181 in home funds received from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and appropriating funds within the Community Development Department.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? Yes. District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 39, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $1,392,777 in Community Development Block Grant COVID funds received from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and authorizing the transfer of $1,282,623 in funds within the Community Development Department to community-based organizations as follows: Acadiana Cares, Boys and Girls Clubs of Acadiana, Hospice of Acadiana, Second Harvest Food Bank, and the Lafayette Council on Aging to deliver community-based services in response to COVID-19.
Need a motion, second. Been motioned by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 40, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the transfer of $90,000 in Community Development Block Grant funds within the Community Development Department to the Hub Lafayette Urban Ministries.
Need a motion, second. Been motioned by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 41, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $8,817,622.05 in emergency rental assistance program funds received from the U.S. Department of the Treasury through the Louisiana State Office of Community Development and appropriating funds within the Community Development Department.
Need a motion second. Been moved by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Coming your way, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't believe I saw him come in. Is Hollis here yet? I know he said he's on his way for the city council. Yeah, okay, Mary. So, and I apologize for not submitting this question earlier. I got a phone call from someone bringing this to my attention literally as I was walking in the door today, so I didn't have time. So, Mary, the concern from this person, so this person has multiple rental properties throughout the parish and has worked with tenants, and they've become extremely frustrated with Smile and Catholic Charities, saying that this process has just gotten dragged out. So they'll go with all of the supporting documentation, submit it, and it gets lost. They've submitted some paperwork 3 and 4 times on properties, and then they'll go back and it's denied, and it's just been a headache. So they're concerned, like, are there any other agencies that could administer this since Smile and Catholic Charities haven't used the $7.5 or what million that we initially allocated for rental assistance? They wanted to know if there were other organizations that could administer this money or help, just because they're so backlogged. We have people that have not gotten rental payments in over a year, and now the federal government's offering this money, and yet they feel like they still can't get access to this money because the people that we've selected to administer this money are just taking forever, have not done a great job, was their concern. I haven't been able to substantiate that. Like I said, I got a phone call just before I came in. So would love to hear from you or whoever wants to address it first. If you could introduce yourself for the record.
Sure. I'm Kim Boudreau, Executive Director of Catholic Charities of Acadiana, and I can respond on behalf of our implementation of the program so far. We began our program on April 1st. We were allocated $3.5 million for rental assistance. We have spent $2.6 million to date, and we have about little less than 3 weeks left of funding to spend based upon our weekly spending patterns. So I will say that we have had an incredibly successful implementation of this program. If there is a unique issue with a particular landlord, we're happy to address them directly with that landlord. There have been issues that have come up throughout the last 3 months with particular landlords with specific situations that we've had to navigate. When those issues have come up, we have been in communication with LCG because oftentimes the landlords have reached out to, or the tenants have reached out to the Community Development Department. We made sure that the Community Development Department staff understood the challenges with that particular case. I'm happy to get the information from the landlord. I don't want to speak in a particular situation publicly because oftentimes it concerns the tenant's
And I'll say,
confidentiality.
he didn't specify, he had concerns in general with it, and he didn't specify if his issues were with Catholic Charities or with
Sure.
Smile. Do we have anyone here from Smile that can speak to? Did you want to speak to something? And
Yeah, so Mary Slemon, Community Development and Planning. I'll just reiterate what she said in that, this is the first time we've ever done this. So first things first is we ask for your patience. I don't think it's an entity thing. I think we are all having growing pains with this new process and doing it efficiently and effectively. And so are we going to do it great 100% of the time? Probably not, but that's just us trying to work out our kinks. So I would offer that if anybody has trouble, that they do reach out to community development, and we work through it on a case-by-case basis to make sure that it's not something specific to that person, and, and it's maybe not a global thing.
Right. And I'm very, very well aware that, I don't want to take one person's issue and say the whole system's broken, but is there any reason, I know you said you have 3 weeks left of funding. Would anybody have a problem, would you guys have a problem deferring this for 2 weeks? Are there any requirements that says we have to allocate this?
So I'll say that there is a problem.
Why is that?
Deferring this because we're going to run out of money, and this is the state's allocation to Lafayette. The funding that we're working on right now was the direct allocation that Lafayette received and was deposited here. This is another allocation that was specific to Lafayette Parish that was given to the state on our behalf.
Okay.
And so this is merely us accepting that agreement from the state so that as we wind down on the funding that we've already received, that we can continue going forward with providing.
Right,
the
but
rental
what
assistance.
happens if we defer this tonight for 2 weeks? Sure.
Go ahead, sir.
Great discussion, great questions, but it's two separate issues. So this particular ordinance recognizes revenue, and Kim's correct, it is the state's portion. We had roughly $7 million that was directly appropriated to Lafayette Consolidated Government, and then the state, or through the state, we give this initial $9 million. If it's not used, then it's not used, but those are two different issues. What you're referring to is maybe even a third issue, but I like your approach. If it's any one-off, definitely the Community Development and Planning, Kim, or the folks over at Smile. But we are having an issue actually getting this money out. We got our Chief of Minority Affairs, we got our Chief of Municipal Affairs out there working, CDP's working that department. We were just having a discussion earlier this morning about how we can get other stakeholders, whether it's United Way or these other organizations through VOAD that might be able to help. Maybe it's additional providers. I will say Catholic Charities really jumped on it from the get-go.
Right.
Smile had a little bit of delay, but they were very transparent in it. They did a great job, and if you see the appropriations they've made over the last 6 weeks, I'm impressed with it. So I would ask that you guys don't defer this, recognize the revenue, it's a separate issue.
I get that it's a separate issue, and this is state money coming in, but it also specifies that Smile and Catholic Charities are the administrators of that money. I'm saying, all I want to do is do due diligence and say, if there are issues, again, I think Catholic Charities is a great organization. I'm not trying to imply that at all. I want to just take a little more time, other than 10 minutes before we got up here, to investigate and find out what's going on, to say, if there are issues in how this money is being administered, are there other organizations that could administer it, or are there other checks that we can put in place to make sure that this money is being administered in a timely fashion, and it's not 3, 4, 5 visits to an office to be able to get a rental assistance program? That's my question.
So the short answer is no, not today, we couldn't. But I'm telling you, we were proactively looking for other entities, and we may not find it. Also, if there's money that's appropriated to Catholic Charities and they don't have the capacity to use it, which they've had a lot of integrity and tell us what they can and can't handle, same thing with Smile, then we would continue to find other organizations. I welcome any of the council members if you guys have an organization.
Or if there's one entity is doing a great job, and one is, do we allocate a greater portion to one that can support and can handle the volume versus?
Couple thoughts. We can always reallocate it. We can always visit it in the future again. Recognizing this revenue, I would submit, doesn't hurt anything, but it could hurt if we don't recognize
But
it.
it's not just recognizing the revenue. It's recognizing the revenue and then authorizing Catholic Charities and Smile
That's-
to administer it.
Well, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So an amendment can be made, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But we have to go somewhere with it today. And again, I'll respect the wishes of the council. If y'all defer, you defer it. I don't think it helps by deferring it. It could hurt.
Agreed.
So I also want to throw in that the eviction moratorium is ending at the end of July. It's not expected at this time to be extended again.
Right.
Now, with the Delta variant, who knows what's going to happen, but at this time, it's not expected to be extended. We've been issuing nearly $1 million a month in rental assistance, and we're able to operate, this is a cost reimbursement program, which is one of the biggest barriers at other nonprofits or nonprofits in general, or anybody, entering into this contract with the city, because ultimately, we have to spend our money first.
Right.
And then we're submitting a reimbursement request to the city. And so at any given point in time, like today, I think we're about $500,000 out of our pocket. waiting for reimbursement from the city. And so I think that it does present a barrier for many nonprofits to step forward to enter into this contract because of for the pure cash flow.
Right.
We have been thankful that our partnership with LCG has gone so well that we've received weekly reimbursements every week to ensure that we're able to continue to provide that assistance every week. It is a challenge for nonprofits to enter into these major contracts from a cash flow perspective, as well as under the federal programs, we can't have duplication of benefit. And so if there are more than 2-3 providers that are administering this program, you increase the risk of duplication of benefits, which then puts the individual at risk of having to repay that, us and LCG. And so the original discussion and intent about keeping the provider small, not only from the cash flow perspective, but also from the reduction of risk and fraud, because it relies on a real-time data entry by both providers, that the Community Development Department felt like it was in LCG's best interest to have 2 providers. They looked at the community, had conversations with anybody that works within the space, and came down to us and Smile.
No, and that makes perfect sense. I get that. Can either of you tell me if we receive the money but don't allocate it to Smile or Catholic Charities, or defer this entirely for 2 weeks, what is what is going to happen? What are the downsides when you said you have 3 weeks of funding left, and we're talking about this coming up in 2 weeks for final adoption?
I'll also comment that in the contract, it did allow, and I imagine the second one is the same, but I know in the first contract, it allowed, it provided language to say that if one agency spends faster than the other, that LCG reserved the right to redistribute an allocation internally without having to come back before the council. I believe it's in the second one as well, so there is that flexibility. And
Right.
in the first one, it was a 50-50 split. In the second one, it's an 80-20.
And I get that. I appreciate that. But can you answer my question? I'm just trying to take enough time before I vote on allocating $8.5 million that I'm just able to gather all the information. And if there is an issue, I'd like to address it now. And I'm just saying, what is the harm in waiting 2 weeks so I can gather more information? If I had gotten this 2 days ago, I would have called Mary or Hollis, the administration, checked with other council members to see if they had received similar calls. I got this 10 minutes ago, so I'm trying to gather more information before I vote on this. So if we defer this, what's going to happen in 2 weeks?
So let me say this. I would ask that you give us the opportunity to rectify the problem first.
But I don't know if there is a problem or what the problem is.
So the issue is you may run out of money. So keep in mind, they cannot give out money, federal money. This is federal money.
Right.
And they can't distribute the money unless certain criteria is met. So when I said there's no harm by adopting it, there's literally no harm, meaning they either run out of money that they've been appropriated, or they don't have anybody that comes to them that's eligible. But the only other action after that is someone comes to them that is eligible and they're able to give the federal money. But if we defer this, and we just quickly looked at the calendar, I believe that puts us past the July 31st mark, which could cause an issue. So I would submit that you take Mary's advice. I try to as often as I can, and that if there's a specific issue, then we can address it. We can call special meetings with the chair's permission, and we can move pretty quick.
So let me ask the question this way. If we adopt this ordinance tonight, and over the course of the next week or two find out that one particular entity is having issues, can we reclaim some of that money and allocate it to a different organization to?
It depends, but go ahead.
Yeah, so the other thing I was going to remind everybody is that it's not a quick process to find and identify and onboard that entity, right? So even if you deferred it 2 weeks and we say there was an ABC nonprofit, we would still have to vet them, then we'd have to onboard them, then we'd have to set it up, then so check the duplication procedures.
I'm not saying find another one. I don't want to make this about Smile and Catholic Charities. If I'm running a charity and Mr. Gilbo is running a charity and I'm doing a horrible job administering it and inefficient, losing paperwork, just don't have the resources, but he's doing a great job, can we as the council come back and say, you know what, we want to pull that money back from Josh Carlson's nonprofit because he's doing a terrible job, and allocate more to John Gilbo's nonprofit because he has the staff and the resources and he's doing a great job? Or once we approve this, is it done and we can't reverse it?
You can always amend when I said it depends, the way you asked that question. So yes, you can amend the ordinance, so that's good. We can also have flexibility through the two agencies that have been identified. If that were to happen, let's say Catholic Charities at capacity or any of those examples that you said, but Smile is in a better position to administer it, unilaterally, we could do it from an administrative standpoint. I should say administratively. Administratively, we could allocate those funds. If the council would want to take away that discretion, would want to put a hard cap on percentages or dollar amounts, or throw in a third administrator, or amend it at all, you have that ability too, either through the regular process or through the special meeting process. But again, I don't see any harm by adopting this ordinance. Quite frankly, it's recognizing federal revenue that these guys have a good handle on. And also, one thing we didn't talk about, but you alluded to, there's a strong compliance issue. And if we don't issue this money correctly, Lafayette Consolidated Government is on the hook. So these two entities, both Catholic Charities and Smile, have gone through the vetting process pretty intensely. Hollis, when he was in charge, now Mary. I'm very satisfied with them, and they assume a lot of that risk. And the capacity, you notice what Kim was saying about the reimbursement. If they could just receive all $9 million, they'd love to, but it's not that easy. There's pretty stringent circumstances that these guys have to fall in. But I appreciate the diligence. I really do. If I guess it was local money, I'd probably be more slightly.
So this ordinance outlines how much money each entity gives. Can we recognize the money and authorize the administration to determine how much money each entity gets? And that way, it gives us some more information to find out what issues we're having and with what entities, and it leaves it up to the discretion of the administration to allocate. I think it's $1.8 million for Smile and $6.8 million for Catholic Charities.
Are you saying if we want to change those amounts, we can? Or
correct. Right now, it doesn't specify. It's hard set numbers. Can we amend this ordinance so that it gives discretion up to the administration to set those dollar amounts? Or we have to set dollar amounts in this ordinance?
I don't know that answer. Yeah, but correct me if I'm wrong, we do have the ability, the ordinance gives the administrator, I think it fulfills the intent, and I appreciate that. But I believe the ordinance allows for those decisions to be made administratively because of the nature of what we're doing. It's a very quick action there.
I just didn't see where in the ordinance.
Yeah.
So it was based upon, and I'll just as a reference, it was based upon how much we had spent versus how much Smile had spent, and so they used that percentage for the second allocation is how they arrived
No,
at.
but he's saying if we want to change it, like let's say we want to give more money to Smile, in other words.
Right.
Is there language in the ordinance that gives us that administratively?
I'm not that intimately aware of
Legal?
the contract.
There's three questions you're really asking, and I don't think any of us at this point in this meeting will have the definitive answer, but the first question is procedurally from the parish council standpoint, can you amend an ordinance? Absolutely. That's the easy one, right? But now you've got questions of, apparently, just learning 2 minutes ago from the speaker, that there are parent contracts in place. So you would have to look at those contracts to see if you're breaching any provision of that contract in terms of distribution or allocation of funds. You would then have to go to federal law and the federal grant monies and the requirements to see if you're violating any of those, to know if the allocations that's in this ordinance, if you change those, have you now breached the federal allocation rules? I don't think we can answer those on the fly.
Okay. I think we just move forward with it tonight. Will the administration support, once I gather more information, if we need to amend this or?
I'm open to anything.
Okay.
So if we need to amend the dollar amounts, if we do find another administrator that fits the vetting process and everybody's comfortable with, we'll add that too. But I think that's the underlying point that I think we're all kind of dancing around, but you can always amend the ordinance.
Okay.
Good, great discussion though.
Hold up.
Okay.
Councilman Rubin?
Thank you, Chair. I have two questions. The first question is, I have a constituent, I'm kind of like him too, my constituent And you guys, I feel you guys are doing a great job of distributing the money. But I have elderly constituents in my district, and they're saying you're discriminating against them because they don't know how to use the computer.
Okay.
So, are we doing anything to help these elderly people? And I say elderly people because I'm kind of handicapped sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? Watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth. But are we doing anything to help those that don't have the capability of utilizing the computers?
So in-person applications are available through Smile. All of our.
And that's what I tell them.
Right.
But they're saying, well, we done did this, and they say, well, why can't we deal with Catholic charities?
Because you can only
know?
apply for one agency, you can't apply at both. And so, and that's part of the duplication of benefits. We can't, and that's been a delicate balance to make sure that as we're approving the assistance, that they haven't already been at Smile and vice versa. But paper applications are available at Smile. And there is a process that if you need assistance, the city was the assistance provider.
The Taylor Center.
So you guys would help elderly people with
application.
Catholic charities? Okay.
Well, I can't speak for who it would be submitted to, but we
I
can
mean,
help
yeah, well,
with the
whoever it's
application
being
process.
submitted to.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, my second question, and here's an important one. If we got a slumlord and they're not taking care of their business, are we still going to just give these people money all willy-nilly?
So there,
And we have people living, I mean, they're playing tag with rats,
I know.
and they're getting checks. You know what I'm saying? Is there something we can do about that?
So that is a problem.
And are we doing something about it?
There is the nature of this funding was meant to be implemented as quickly as possible to prevent people from losing their housing. It did require there to be an option for reporting a complaint against a landlord, but that it wasn't directly connected to the assistance to the landlord. So there is a process in which the tenants can report an issue with their landlord to LCG through, and you.
If they do report it on the application, it comes to us with Randy Viator in our housing, and they will do an inspection of the property and then move forward with the rehabilitation of the condemnation. But I have a Part B to your answer to your
Ma'am?
question. I have a Part B answer to your question.
Okay.
I am actively working with legal to put in some enforcement mechanisms so that if you do get a rehabilitation notice, that you, if you do not choose to rehabilitate, that we can potentially take you to our new Administrative Adjudication Bureau.
Okay, thank you.
It is a valid concern, though.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Mayor, President, you still need the floor?
Oh, no, sir. Thank you.
I just have one comment, and it emanates from what Paul said, and you, Mr. President, Mayor President. Administratively, yes, you can make the adjustments, and certainly we can do amendments. One thing that does give me concern are the contracts that we have with the individual entities. And we certainly don't want to breach those, and that needs to be considered in any administrative review or action that we take. And I see your head shaking, so that's a...
Yeah, and so I'll remind everybody that Shane Rougeau, our grants manager, is very familiar with the contracts, and he's the one who's working with me to decide how much and who and when. So he's my all knowledge knowing of the contract and will be
And
aware
Mary,
of
I have
that.
the utmost faith and confidence that it'll be done right, but let's make sure that there's language in that contract, and I hope legal has, looked at that to make sure that we can do these things administratively if it's necessary to make it happen.
Yeah, it'll definitely be going through legal.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Mayor, President.
clarify, and I'm thankful Hollis did, is tuning in, and he sent me a little text, and we're still in the transition, so I appreciate it. So it's not specifically written in the ordinance, but in the contracts, community development plan does have the ability to adjust the funds in between agencies. If we do have to bring in a new agency, it'll have to come back before the council, which is exactly what we had said. So there is discretion. Of course, we go through legal, make sure that everything is good to go. But if we were to add an agency, we'd have to go through the council to amend it.
Right.
And y'all can amend even what I just said with the discretion if you want.
Right. And again, my concern was with the contracts, and if there is that clause, then we're okay. Okay. Where are we? Finished? Okay, any further council discussion? Any public comments, Ms. Williams?
No, sir.
Okay, let's vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved. Joint Ordinance 42, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing revenues in the amount of $304,867.78 in Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Funds received from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the August 2016 flood event and appropriating within the Community Development Department for use towards the 10% match liability for the FEMA Public Assistance Program.
Need a motion, second. Been moved by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Carlson. Any council discussion? Public comments, Ms. Williams?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? District 3? District 4?
Yes.
Motion to adopt is approved.
Announcement of vacancies on boards, commissions. Jeremy, please read.
A vacancy exists on the Mayor President's Awareness Committee for Citizens with Disabilities for the remainder of an unexpired 3-year term through October 31st, 2023. Resumes are to be submitted by nonprofit agencies working with disabled citizens in the parish of Lafayette. Individuals wishing to submit a resume for the above volunteer vacancy must be a registered voter and a resident of Lafayette Parish. Yearly ethics training for all appointees is required, as is financial disclosure under certain circumstances. Resumes are to be forwarded to Veronica L. Williams, Clerk of the Council, P.O. Box 4017C, Lafayette, Louisiana 70502, or emailed to bclafayette@lafayettela.gov no later than noon, Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021, with appointments to be made at the August 17th, 2021 regular meeting of the Lafayette Parish Council. Resume submissions are public record.
Consider appointment by the council as a whole to board commissions. Jeremy,
Mr.
please read.
Chair, Mr.
Yes.
Chair, if you would allow, there is someone signed in to ask about announcement of vacancies on boards and commissions, and it's Ted Reshore. He has a question about board vacancies.
Okay, Mr. Richard.
Yes. I have a question about what's the procedure of how do you get on a board? And I will tell you that I already know that you send a resume and then I don't know what happens to the resume. My question is that I've applied for 2 different boards in the past couple of years. First one was the Hyman Center Board. I didn't even get nominated for that without an interview from anyone. The second one was the Library Board, and I didn't get nominated for that. And when I spoke to Mr. Carlson about it, he said that he was nominating somebody from his district, which I thought that that was okay. My problem is that why are you nominating somebody from your district if I'm the one that's actually more qualified? I mean, I've served on several boards of directors in my lifetime. I've been the chairman of the board of a chamber of commerce when I lived in Texas. I'm the former chairman of the board of Acadiana Cares. So I know what I'm doing when I'm serving on a board. So I want to know, why is it that when someone's asked to submit a resume to serve on a board, that not a single person calls them? What's the procedure? How do you guys decide who serves on the board?
Mr. Richard,
Yes.
again, we make the announcement and, you submit your application and so forth, and those resumes, applications are distributed among the membership of either the city or the parish, wherever it's coming from.
Right.
And from that, individuals on each council review it and make a determination as to who they feel is best qualified, and that's how it works.
Without an interview?
Yes, sir.
You could tell from a piece of paper if somebody's qualified to serve on a
Well,
board.
sometimes,
I'm
you
just
know,
asking.
yeah, well,
That doesn't make sense to me.
yeah, and sometimes what'll happen is, you know, I'll get phone calls or I'll call the individuals. It depends, you know, if I need more information.
Well, nobody's ever called me for more information.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my concern, is that how are these people who are not qualified to serve on boards now serving on boards without interviews from anyone? Not anybody on the city council, not anybody on the parish council. How does that happen? Every single board I've ever served on in my life, I had to interview for it.
Well-
Mr. Chair.
So how does that happen?
Yes,
If I may, the resumes that are submitted to the council members. They have the discretion to interview the people who they feel they want to interview. So it's not that they're not being interviewed. They have the discretion to interview who they want to interview, and they do that on an individual basis. So that's how that works. You may not get called, but like you inquired from Mr. Josh Carlson.
Right.
Right, so that's how
No,
that works.
but what I'm saying is I know exactly what's on my resume, and I know I'm more than qualified to serve on any board that you have. I've done it several times in my lifetime. So I'm kind of curious as to why nobody on this council and nobody on the city council thought that I was worth a phone call. I think I deserve a phone call on that. You can go back and look at my resume. You can see what it says.
and Mr. Richard, in all fairness, when we look at the other resumes, you know, they feel the same thing, that they have a highly qualified resume. The only two qualifications to serve on a board is be a member of this parish and an elected, you have the opportunity to vote.
Right. That's the qualifications.
That's right.
That doesn't mean that you're qualified to be on that board.
I understand, and we get to
So-
see all the resumes and applications.
Well, I see them too because they're on the LCG website. So I know what I'm up against. So I'm wondering why somebody else that's not qualified gets on the board and I don't even get a phone call because I see their resumes too.
Right.
And I know what's on mine.
Okay.
So thank you for your time.
Okay,
I appreciate it.
Sure. Consider appointment by the council as a whole to boards, commissions. I think I've already read that one in, but let's move on that one. Jeremy, please read.
Appointment to the City Parish Alignment Commission for a 6-month term effective the date of the first meeting, Lafayette Parish Council as a whole.
Any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Councilman Tabor.
Councilman Tabor's name has been put into the nomination. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? No other nominations, then council discussion on the nomination? Any public comments, Ms. Williams?
No, sir.
Then let's vote. We have Councilman Tabor to make it official.
District 1? Yes, District 3?
Tabor?
District 4?
Yes, Tabor.
District 5? Tabor has been appointed.
Okay, introductory ordinances. Jeremy, I need a motion, well, before, I need a motion and second to introduce items 23 through 26 in globo. Been moved by Councilman Rubin, seconded by Councilman Tabor to introduce items 23 through 26 in globo.
Parish Ordinance 34, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating and capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by authorizing the use of parish general fund balance in the amount of $10,000 for sidewalk entrance repair and appropriating within the coroner's office. Parish Ordinance 35, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council declaring the Bayou Vermilion Flood Control Coulee-Oldecon project a public necessity and authorizing the acquisition of the necessary rights-of-way, movable property, and other property rights requisite to the construction of said project, either on an amicable basis or through the use of the expropriation process if necessary. Parish Ordinance 36, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by adjusting the manning tables and increasing the hourly pay rate of 4 labor foreman 3 positions within the Drainage Department. Parish Ordinance 37, 2021, an ordinance of the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the non-warranty donation of that property located at 1217 South Fieldspan Road to Acadiana Needs, a qualified nonprofit pursuant to Louisiana Revised Statute 472205.
Council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1? Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Joint introductory ordinances. Item number 29 has been deferred indefinitely. Item number 29. I need a motion and second to introduce items 28 and 30 through 32 in globo. Been moved by Councilman Tabor, seconded by Councilman Rubin. Jeremy, please read.
Joint Ordinance 44, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending Joint Ordinance 49, 2020, reorganizing the Lafayette Airport Commission by adjusting an appointment to the board. Joint Ordinance 46, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 capital budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by reappropriating the amount of $28,000 from Bridge Repairs Parish into Gas Utility Vehicles New 2. Joint Ordinance 47, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council authorizing the Lafayette Mayor President to enter into a traffic signal maintenance agreement between the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government and the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for traffic signal maintenance by increasing revenue from the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development in the amount of $259,904. Joint Ordinance 48, 2021, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 2021 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by increasing the use of prior year fund balance in Fund 550 in the amount of $125,000 and appropriating within the Public Works Department Environmental Quality Code Enforcement Division for additional funding needed for contractual services used for grass cutting and debris removal.
Any council discussion? Ms. Williams, any public comment?
No, sir.
Let's vote.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
Motion to introduce in globo is approved.
Meeting adjourned.
And we will immediately start the special meeting once the city council comes up.